Hello, I am Erica Gozar. I'm the CEO, owner, and founder of Gozar Productions. I'm also the writer, director, and producer of Retirement Time, and I also voice Nagisa and Kayano, as well as Manabe's daughter. I'm here to talk about our new short film, Retirement Time. If you don't already know about Retirement Time, it is a fan short film based on Assassination Classroom where Nagisa and Kayano are retiring. Nagisa is struggling with the idea of legacy left behind and wondering if what he's done was enough. What spurred the creation of this short film was that I was actually binging Assassination Classroom, both the anime and the manga, and I was like, oh my god, I love Nagisa so much, I really want him to get with Kayano. And then I realized I could do the voices of Nagisa and Kayano. After a little bit of trial and error, I got it down, and I decided to make a short film where Nagisa and Kayano get together. Except it didn't really exactly end up like that. It really isn't focused on Nagisa and Kayano's relationship almost at all. It's more focused on, Nagisa struggling with the idea of legacy left behind. And I guess it makes sense, given that I'm trying my best to copy Assassination Classroom as much as possible, so there would be a lesson that he would need to learn at the end of the short film, and in the end he does. I had the help of some friends on Discord in writing the script, including Raun, Senko, and Kira. In this short film, I really tried my best to stay as accurate to the lore and the original story of Assassination Classroom as possible. I really wanted to make something that Yusei Matsui himself would approve of. I did deviate a little bit in some areas, but I think overall we did a pretty good job. We got some really talented voice actors. I'm really proud of my Nagisa voice. I'm so proud. I'm like, hi, I'm Nagisa. I don't know what else to say, but I'm a part of Class 3E. Whenever I do the voice, I really don't know what to say. Kayano's voice was actually pretty hard to nail down. I knew that I could do some sort of nasally type voice, but I was specifically trying to get her voice when she was an adult. And for that, there's only one episode that shows that, and it's at the very end of the series. When I recorded my parts for Kayano, I literally was watching the series on my phone and okay, I need to get the voices exactly like this and record. Oh no, it's not right. Re-record. I'm glad. I think it turned out pretty decent, pretty convincing in the end. It wasn't until after I recorded that I realized, oh wait, her voice during episode 25 of season 2 is practically the same as her voice after she reveals her true identity. So, it is what it is. Overall, I'm still really happy with how my voices turned out. The main character, who is not any of the characters I'm playing, is Manabe. He was previously Nagisa's student when he was teaching high schoolers during his training period. And by this time, he has grown up and has a child of his own who is transferring to Nagisa's class.
Hello, my name is Dirpfish, and in this short series called Retirement Time, I am voicing the character Manabe. It's the first anime type dub that I've done in a while. I usually work on cartoon dubs and comic dubs, I suppose, which technically this is but it's more animated. I didn't really know how I wanted to interpret this character because originally when I seen Assassination Classroom, I was thinking that the character Manabe itself was going to be scary almost. And then the description was that he's scrawny and stuff. So I was like, oh, well, that means he might be a little higher pitched or a little bit more nasally or something like that. So I was having struggles working that out. But Erica helped me, and, we worked through it.
Dirpfish was really fun to work with. He would stay in the voice call of the read-through channel and record the lines while I'm here giving him some feedback. And then while I'm editing, he's just there silently listening. And one time I said, I don't know if I'm keeping you, you're free to go if you want. And he said, nah, it's fun listening to you edit. I guess I'm a fun person.
Oh man, I don't know. She's kind of scary. No, I'm joking. It was great. Her direction was pretty good. She did a really good job on this project. The whole process of going through and editing and retaking them, and the voiceover itself and the read-through was amazing. I was laughing and giggling throughout the whole entire thing, and I was having a field day, so.
Mike the Microphone voiced both of the henchmen, and he is really talented and very professional. When I asked him to do something, he basically understood almost immediately and thus was able to deliver pretty immediate, pretty good lines. I am very glad that these two people have offered to help with this short film because they're amazing at what they do. They voice acted the parts really well, and I also didn't need to pay them. They just did it for free because they want to be a part of it. It's so great when people support you like that. They might have also just wanted the experience or maybe just enjoy voice acting themselves, but still. I don't have the skills to draw art for a full short film myself. The most art that I've ever done for a project was for Wind and Water, which I'm really proud of. They were just regular art. They weren't animations, and then I had to animate the motion graphics for each image, and it took a month to do. It was very long and very taxing. So I knew I wouldn't want to have to do the same thing for this. And plus, I can only do it in a singular art style. I can't replicate the art from the anime, so I thought, I'm gonna have to pay someone. I'm gonna have to pay someone to do art for me. So I posted a call on Casting Call Club, and someone applied. And he originally thought that it was just going to be 6 characters and not that many shots. So after I said I could pay him twice the amount that I offered in the listing, he said yes, he could do that. I was only able to pay him the amount that I listed in the listing because I didn't have enough money yet in order to pay the entire thing. At the time of recording this video, I still need to pay him the other $250, and if the project hasn't been finished by the time you're watching this, I'd really appreciate it if you would donate at ko-fi.com/GozarProductions so that we can hopefully get the watermarks removed from all of our art sooner. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to wait for birthday money.
My name is Ivan Prime93. I am the artist for this project. I typically can replicate other people's art styles when the client asks of me. Just takes a bit time to get into it, trial and error and such.
How it started was I actually drew some rough sketches with random circles and squares myself to show exactly where on the screen that I wanted each character to be drawn. And then Ivan Prime went over that and sketched out his official sketches himself.
Finding the right brush for the grass, and then just go back and forth, adjusting the size, back and forth, enlarge for the close-up, enlarge, and go from there.
It's very interesting just how much the spacing and the placement of the eyes, nose, and mouth tends to affect your facial recognition of anime characters, especially in Assassination Classroom. When Ivan Prime sent me his initial sketches, I felt that the eyes were a little bit misplaced, so I went in and I literally manually moved each individual, eye, nose, and mouth into the right places for some of the shots that I felt it necessary. So even though I didn't do most of the art myself, I still had a very hands-on approach on it.
Erica is somewhat patient, more patient than most clients I've worked with. I never did anything close to Assassination Classroom's art style. It's pretty different. More rounder, softer eyes. It's kinda hard to gauge how wide apart the eyes are, for instance. But I can get used to it after drawing a few times, I mean. How many times have I drawn Nagisa thus far? So I kinda get in the groove of it.
Aside from our main artist, who is doing a pretty good job, I also had a friend. His name is Raun. As I already mentioned before, he helped with the script previously, and I bounce a lot of feedback off of him. But anyway, Raun does a little bit of art. He offered to draw 3 images for me. So he drew the image of Nagisa holding Kayano's hand, and the retirement time title screen.
My name is Raun, and I have drawn 2 pictures for Erica and helped her with the script a little bit. It was fun trying to make it as close to the anime as possible, because sometimes it's actually fun to do impersonations and trying to get a style right. It's its own fine art, The only main hurdle is learning how to do this bit on the fly because it's new. You have to do it like faster and with a certain amount of quality. Other than that, no problem. We'll do it again. Me and Erica have a tendency to cross paths verbally. Like, we have different visions of how to do this, how to go about with that, and because we're not exactly in each other's brains, there can be a bit of miscommunication.
Honestly, sometimes we bicker like a married couple. It's funny, we had another friend in the voice chat saying, "Are you two getting divorced?" I was like, that is hilarious. Sometimes it's really difficult to communicate exactly what you want when your creative juices are flowing, and then you get frustrated and then you start raising your voice. But in the end, it worked out okay. Raun is one of those friends that I've actually had for quite a while, and we had history of a little bit of arguments beforehand as well, before we both learned to be a little bit better on that. I learned to not always expect people to know whatever is in my head. And he learned to be more forward about when he wanted his boundaries respected. Anyway, it's really great of Raun to still do all this art for me, even while we're bickering and all that stuff.
It's really good. It feels oddly professional because Erica is very good at like making all kinds of productions, including shows on VR chat, songs of her own, and little tiny other movies aside from this one. It's kind of like working with an upcoming director that's going to get nominated at some point, you know what I mean? Like rising star feeling.
I also have another friend named Steven Garrett who popped by my server and said, "Hi Erica, how are you doing?" And I said, "I'm making a new short film." And he said, "Great, if you need help, let me know." And I was like, "Do you do Foley?" He was like, "I'm sort of rusty." He is now doing Foley for most of our SFX. Sound effects, sorry. The first piece of Foley that he did was basically the clap stunner, and he did it really well, even though he said it was still a work in progress. So now he's doing Foley for the rest of it. At the time of recording this video, I don't yet know how his Foley turned out, so it'll be a surprise for both of us. Usually when I make a short film, I compose the music myself, because, you know, I write music. But for this one, I decided I wanted to use the actual music from the anime for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's less work, takes less time. Secondly, having the music from the anime play during the short film would remind people of all the times when the music played in the anime, and I feel like it would give people a much more authentic Assassination Classroom experience. And I'm really excited to see it all come together. I'm so excited. I feel like the first time I watched the entire preview of the short film with all of the voices together with the music, I was like, oh my god, it's so good. It's like I'm actually watching an episode from the anime. And I really hope you guys have the same experience when you watch it.
I am very excited. I can't wait to see the whole entire thing wrapped up in a nice little bow, and I think it's going to be a great video.
I love this series. Koro-sensei and Karma are basically, if you combine them, you get me, so I love them.
I really seriously hope that the original creator of Assassination Classroom, Yusei Matsui himself, actually at least catches a glimpse of this and also messages back. I mean, it's a little tiny tidbit of a dream that he'll see Erica's film and be like, I'm going to officially animate this and make it canon.
When it comes out depends largely on when I get the money to finish paying the artist for the unwatermarked versions of the art. So again, please, I really appreciate it if you would donate at ko-fi.com/gozarproductions. The link should be on the screen somewhere and also in the description for you to donate. Overall, I'm very excited for this short film. I hope you enjoy it. Again, I'm Erica Gozar from Gozar Productions, and I'll see you in the real thing.